we need to have a united community, folks. We need to have the common unity back in community. You're only going to get that by finding yourself. See all the rabbit holes that I've been down there, all the people that I've pointed the finger at, the Illuminati, the ruling elite, the banking cartels, all of these things, you can name any villain that you want. All the rabbit holes that you go down and all the answers that you're looking for about this system, ultimately what you're looking for is yourself. What you're looking for is in your heart. Because it's when you change your heart space and you start applying it to the world around you that the world changes. I mean, look at Palestine. Palestine is a perfect opportunity on a global scale. There it is right there for the world to see. And it's a forgotten country, it's a forgotten people. It's financed by our governments. We could stop this right away by holding our governments in breach of trust. And the thing is that in Palestine, these people have no voice. They can never establish their own freedom. They will never establish their own freedom because the governments that hold sway over the place won't allow it. The Israeli government will never allow it. You can't reason with these people. You can't even give the leaders of this planet ethnologic plants to try to change their consciousness because their consciousness is psychopathic. If it wasn't psychopathic, we wouldn't be in the world that we're in. And that's another thing we can use. I mean, look at the world. If any government claims it isn't in breach of trust, well, Exhibit A, the Earth. Look at the place. Look at what we've done to this beautiful home that we live on. And we are so connected to this home. And we have to get back there. And that's where this shamanistic culture comes into it as well. Because when the Crown Corporation was formed by Pope Boniface back in 1302, one of the things that they did was they created the Crown Corporation. The Crown Corporation created the East India Trading Company, which went out and decimated every tribal culture it could find. That was its mandate. They created the pirates. They did every single thing they could since the establishment of this Vatican corporate system, and even before then, through the Dark Ages. They did every single thing that they could to wipe out shamanistic tradition, to wipe out what they call paganism, pantheism, the knowledge of the plants. Because the knowledge of the plants and this connection that you can get back to Mother Earth, Mother Gaia, Sophia, whatever you want to call her, is profound. And this is the only thing that will really save us from this system. So that's why there's no good really attacking this system. We have to realise what it is so we can rein it in. There's no good fighting it. And that's another thing where a lot of the free man movement goes wrong and a lot of the common law movement goes wrong, is that people go out and attack the system. They go out and attack police officers. They want to stand up, they get a little bit of knowledge and the cops pull them over and they want to do this and they want to do that. They create a scene. That's not what it's about. There's no good fighting the system because the system's fiction. You know where it came from? We made it up. We made the whole thing up. It's just a meme. It's just an idea. Someone wrote it down and they called it law, and we went along with it because we don't know any better. They control the education system. They've taught us that this is the way it is. That's all the education system's for. It's to perpetuate the meme. That's what it's about. It takes the knowing away from people. It enslaves you to the written word. It's like freedom. What is freedom? Freedom is something you know. It's something you know in your heart. Love is something you know in your heart. What do? They write it down. They give it a name. Here it is as the written word. Freedom is these letters, and it's defined by this understanding. But now we can just change that a little bit. We can adapt that a little bit. We can make it better for you. You know, and now it's defined by the written word. That's your concept. That's your understanding of it. But it's really a knowing. You know, words are spells. That's what they're designed to do. That's why when you go to school, the first thing they teach you to do is they teach you to spell. What are you doing when you're spelling? You're casting spells. That's what it's all about. Someone would tell me that a spell is a series of words. I would say that a word is a series of spells. That's the way it works. This is the way they trap your brain. They keep you in left brain, always thinking in language. This is what it's about. So they trap you with the words. They define what freedom is. The American Bill of Rights is a fantastic example of this. The American Bill of Rights is a very deceptive document. It's an insidious document. The American Bill of Rights, when you read it, you read this document and you think, this is a beautiful document. This explains everything I should be as a human being. And the reason it does is because it explains everything you are as a human being. But it's just stuff that you already know. But because it's now written it down on a piece of paper, now we can change it. Now we can amend it. Now we can add to it. Now we can take all of these rights away from you. All of these natural rights that you know you have. we can define by this written word, and now we can take it away from you. That's what they do, you see. So we have to get away from all this. We have to realise what our relationship with these people is. We have to rein this government in. Rein it in right across the planet. There's a global movement. There is. Everywhere I've been around the world, I've seen pockets of resistance. But nobody really knows where to go, what to do with it. But people are starting to understand now the concept of fiduciary trust. And if we as a nation and as a people can figure this out and stand in that and rein this in, then we can change the direction the ship of state's going. There's not going to be any miraculous overnight transformation. Now, we've still got a society, even if we had mass arrests, as some people have been advocating, even if we had a revolution, even if we overthrew our governments, whatever, where it's just going to create chaos. We still need some form of system because we still have a society. But if we can rein our governments in, we can clean up this system. We can introduce an honest monetary system so people aren't enslaved to debt. We can get the fluoride out of the water. You know, the tuna, deep sea tuna, full of fluoride now. Fluoride in the oceans. I mean, it's out of control. Fukushima, we've got all of this stuff going on. We need to rein it all in. Because once we rein our governments in and we institute some form of honest government, something very, very transparent that is actually a government of the people, for the people, and by the people, something very, very transparent, because, you know, essentially just an administrative arm, that's really all we need government to be. We don't need them to control us. We need them to administer the infrastructure of our society. That's all their purpose should be. If we can rein them back to that and get all the toxins out of our society, then perhaps our grandkids will start being born aware again and connected again, with the pineal open, with more of their DNA active. Because this world that we're in now is so full of pollutants, it's so full of damage, and it's a reflection of our failure to face this, to be in this. Our world truly is a reflection of ourselves, folks. It really is. You know, and it's the same as the way we always put a band-aid on the sore, but we never address the problem. Not on a geopolitical level, we don't. It's the way we treat our bodies generally as a society as well. We get a sickness, so we take a vaccine and it removes the symptoms, but it creates all of these other sicknesses. And that's what we're doing basically as a culture, generally. Of course, the people here aren't doing that, but generally as a culture, this is what's happening. So we need to start reining this in. And you've got to be spreading information to people, but doing it in an empowering way. You really do. People have to be seeing this as an opportunity, because it's the greatest opportunity we've ever had for freedom. But again, freedom is self-responsibility. There's a lot of people that don't want that, and that's a real shame. But again, you can lead by example and show them that there's a better way. See, that's the thing when you talk about this system as well. It's one thing to point out all the faults, but you have to show people that there's a better way. You've got to give them crumbs of information, plant seeds in their mind and let them discover the truth for themselves. Lead by example in all that you do and show them there's a better way. Teach them to know things again. That's what we've lost. Now, something that's been really good about this gig here is seeing the great love that everybody has had for art here and the importance of art in our society. Art's very right brain. And right brain is where we've been kept away from. You know, we don't view the world artistically anymore, which is why we have so many of the problems that we've got. You know, art is culture. Art is who you are. Your life is your art. We've had our culture reduced to patriotism, but really our culture is our art. If you look at the culture of the Irish people, it's their particular art, the Celtic knots, the way they build their walls, the way they dress, the way they speak. This is their art. This is their culture. It's not their spot in the world. That isn't their culture. Their culture is their art. And it's the same with everybody. Your life is your art. And that's something that's been taken away from us as well. Now our lives are, we measure ourselves up to all these yardsticks. Our lives are what we look like according to this certain rung on the social scale. This is what we've been reduced to. Our whole lives have been reduced to commerce, and we've been moved away from the art of ourselves. We've been moved away from the discovery of ourselves. So we have to go back to that. All of the problems that we face, every single one of them, can be solved by going in here. That's where all of the answers lie. But you've got to know what you're looking for, I guess. What you're looking for is yourself, and it is in there. I mean, I've had this experience, like I said, where I had this massive connection. And what I found out about myself is that I'm perfect, that everybody's perfect, because what is this? I mean, this is a vehicle. This is a biological computer that downloads a frequency. You know, you take a kidney out of my body, put it in your body, you'll start experiencing me. Not because the kidney has memory, but because the membranes of the cells, Dr. Bruce Lipton's worked this out, the membranes of the cells are downloading a frequency. That frequency is what you experience as you. I downloaded a frequency from the same place that I experience as me. My consciousness is not local to my body, it exists out here in the field. The same as everybody's consciousness. We've got all these different biological computers tuned to different frequencies, downloading a different aspect of reality. That's what we've got. Now, what's unique to you is your perspective of reality. No one else can have that. That is 100% you. You are absolutely unique in that perspective. And no one can be you any better than you can. So why would you ever consider yourself to be anything else but perfect? Because you're perfect at being you. And being you is what you came here to do, obviously, because that's who you are. It's what you do with the experience. And once you realize that perfection in yourself, you start to see it in others. You start to see how perfect it is. All of these unique perspectives, and you start to see every one of these perspectives as being just as valid as your own. Just as valid. It's when we can merge all of these perspectives and honour all of these perspectives and realise the validity of everybody else that all the barriers break down, and we can change the world in 3 seconds if we would just change our perspective and then apply it to the world around us. So that's the problem, the failure of application of this knowledge and this understanding and this love that we feel inside. Inherently it's there. The failure to apply it to the world around us and to really pay attention to what's going on, because there is a huge shadow in the world and we could heal it really, really quickly and really easy by discovering who we are and realising what our relationship with government is. The trip to Gaza that I just did was absolutely mind-altering. It really was. Like, the people in Gaza are beautiful people. We hear about this terrible terrorist group from, the Palestinian terrorists. Well, what I found there was the most wonderful, warmest, kindest people I've ever met. I made some incredible friends there, and I have to go back there. I got in there very, very precariously. Wasn't exactly probably the most intelligent thing I've ever done in my life, but hey, I'm really glad I did it. And we got in there, and because it was a very dangerous place, we decided the best thing to do was to make a video and put it on YouTube and let the world know that we were actually in there, so that it was sort of a bit more kosher. And then we came out. I actually built a schoolroom for some children while I was in there, because it's very, very hard to educate the children in there. All they've got is Fatah teaching them sort of hardline propaganda, or they've got the Hamas hardline Muslim school. And for the people who don't want to be part of either of it, there's one university for these people, but there's no schools. There's no schools for the kids. So we went in there and we built a schoolroom for the Samuni children and a whole bunch of other children to come and just learn in there. So it was a really interesting experience and a really powerful experience. I intend to go back there next year. But it really is a microcosm of the macrocosm, because what we see, as I said earlier, is a forgotten people. And when you look at this corporate system, I mean, in America now there's something like 3 million homeless people. You've got probably 30 million homes that are empty, and you've got all these empty homes and all these homeless people. What's going on here? If the government's serving the people, then why is that happening? These are a forgotten, dispossessed people. Earlier we had Charlie talking about the people that are being shipped off to Honduras. Again, you've got a forgotten people. This is happening right there in full view of everybody. In the Congo, again, in Africa, a forgotten people. The thing is about Gaza and about Palestine is that it's so public and it's right there, and that is the catalyst that's being used to foment this friction in the Arab world to create World War III. And that's an opportunity for us, because it's right there. It's on the news all the time. We know it's there. And these are people, these are our brothers and sisters, these are absolutely our brothers and sisters. And every day they are being brutalised in Palestine because we're not paying attention. And that's probably a terrible thing to say to people, oh, you're not paying attention, so it's your fault. Well, I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is that we need to start holding our governments accountable for their actions. We need to rein our governments in. And I believe that's an opportunity. I believe Palestine's an opportunity to fix it. That's what it's about. I believe every problem that we're faced with is an opportunity for us to fix the problem. That's what we're not getting. That's what we're not grasping. We're always pointing the finger. We petition our governments. We ask them if they would please fix this problem. I say we mandate that they fix it. We, the people, hereby mandate that you, our public trustees, perform the following action. You have 30 days to comply. Should you fail to comply, you've abdicated your right to govern, and you will be replaced by a new group of public trustees who will carry out the will of the people. This is our will. This is called democracy. You know?